Hello, everyone. We are going to be stirring up an appetite with this conversation, and then you shall go out and satisfy that appetite. But first, I want to welcome Padma to flying over from New York to LA to be with us today. And I think we need to take a moment in the global context in which we find ourselves. You, through your shows, discuss light and the dark, and the highs and the lows, and the emotional and the not. And so at this moment, when we're thinking of people wanting to learn about business and be excited about what's to come, there is also a pain, a weight on the world right now with what's happening with Israel and Hamas. How much do you feel that in these moments with your audience, you have to respond to that? Is it something that you're also feeling and empathizing, I'm sure, with many of your audience?
Well, I mean, most of all, I'm feeling really sad about what's happening. Like many of us, you know, we feel helpless. And I don't think everybody needs to comment on everything. And I feel like I certainly don't. We were, you know, people kept saying, aren't you going to say anything? Aren't you going to say anything? And it's difficult because you also don't want to muddy the waters. And it's easy to get caught up in all of that, and of course it's atrocious what's happened, and it's one of those issues that's really hard to talk about, especially online and short format in social media, because anything you say is going to be, you know, a platitude, and if you express empathy for one group, that means, you know, you're an anti-Semite. If you express empathy for the horrible, horrible thing that's happened right now, then you don't believe that, you know, these people over here, the Palestinians, should have a homeland. I think it's very complex, but I also think that you just say something simple that you know you really believe in, and so if someone comes at you about it, you can defend it, and then you move on. Because I'm not a politician, I'm not a policymaker, I certainly am not even from the Middle East. So as a bystander, as a parent, I'm very scared because it's a loss of human life in an area that suffered so much. And considering what's going on in Ukraine, I think it's also got the real potential to escalate and spread. We're seeing the rise of fascism in a lot of the world, and we're also seeing people who are trying to just maintain their everyday lives in the face of something that's so horrific and so unprecedented. You know, I can't imagine what those families are going through. I'm thinking of them more than the geopolitical ramifications, although obviously as a thinking person, I think about those too. I think we want to be careful.
And I think you, within your work, particularly Taste the Nation, we know you for Top Chef, we know, and the way in which you have brought food storytelling to us as an audience. Now you have started to, in a way, do that fine line of political divide, religious divide, cultural divide, but try and tell it through storytelling through food. And I'm interested as to what made you decide, this is the story I want to tell right now, having been a producer, understood what it takes to be that person who can present in that fact as well.
Well, I mean, I came to do Taste the Nation after working with the ACLU for 5 or 6 years on immigrant issues, and I'm an immigrant myself. And so I felt, in that case, unlike commenting on what's going on over there, I felt I had a very fully formed opinion. And I felt like I had a lived experience that allowed me to take on the subject, as well as learning from human rights lawyers at the ACLU and familiarizing myself with other immigrant communities. And so, yes, Taste the Nation is really a political show. You know, it's just disguising.
Did you mean it to be?
Yes, it's very, yes. I mean, I meant for you to see and not see everything you saw and not saw in Taste the Nation. I mean, as much as I am in front of the camera on that show, most of the work that I do on that show is behind the camera, with our stories, with our episode producers, with our research, writing the, you know, voiceover, all of it. And I think that's been a real gift, to be able to hone muscles I didn't know I had, didn't know I wanted. And it's very gratifying. It's always really a privilege, and you just feel so lucky to be able to have an interest and a keen passion about something, and then actually be able to do it at work at the level that you want to do. And I think that to me has been the greatest gift that Top Chef has given me, because I would never have Taste the Nation if I hadn't helped build Top Chef. And while Taste the Nation may be more aligned with my own interests or my own vision or taste level, Top Chef is also something that I'm really proud of as far as what we've done in television and what we've done in food, and also what we've done just to affect how a generation of young people around the world, not just in America, think about their food. And I think they're much more knowledgeable, let's say, than I was at their age.
And thinking about how you've brought your narrative to bear, whether it be through television, then thinking, okay, well, it's a streaming product as well. And what goes into that viewpoint of this is the way in which this is the conduit to which I'm going to be telling my story?
Well, I think people are used to me speaking the language of